Hey, what's going on? Travis Patel here. Thank you for joining me in this video. Today I want to talk about the scaling process with your Facebook ads. Now the key when we start with our Facebook advertising is we're looking for that winner, that product, that ad campaign that starts making us money, starts producing a positive ROI. Now sometimes this takes a lot of testing, a lot of spending money to make money on your round one, round two ads, looking for those pockets that are really going to be the ones that convert for you. Who are your ideal buyers? Who are that group of people that we need Facebook to optimize towards so that we are making more and more money? So I want to kind of walk through the scaling process of how we start out with our round one ads, go into round two, round three, just to find those winners and then expand the amount of people that see that ad. Now, what pretty much happens in the previous video, previous post, I talked about round one ads, where this is where we're doing a test phase, throwing a lot of ads out there, testing out a lot of groups of people to see who's going to convert. If all of them convert, great, you have a big winner on your hands. If not, then we need to dial it in, find those pockets that are going to convert for you. So in round one, our testing is, like I said, hitting all those different pockets, where we start out with our dialed interests. We went through the interest research video where I kind of found all of the ideal interests that Facebook has to offer. With this initial round one, we're really creating an estimated guess of our ideal interests. So those who are kind of related to buyer markets, maybe they like other product pages and brands in your niche, maybe they're in the niche themselves, they know the vocabulary, they've bought in the past. Whatever it may be, we're starting out with that dialed in group as much as possible, and that's what you can see on the left box here in our round one testing. We have WC, which stands for website conversion, the type of ad. And on our first ad set, we're using dialed interests, that very dialed group of people, that estimated guess as far as what we think is going to be the best buyers. This will be one single ad set in the website conversions. Then our second ad set is going to be targeting the master niche audience. So if we've been in the niche in the past, we're sending a lot of traffic, we have a custom audience of all the people who have visited or maybe purchased a product in this niche in the past, we would start off this round one here, because this is a very likely group of people to buy since they've already interacted with this niche in the past. If you don't have this master audience, just skip it. You'd go with the best estimated guess of those dialed interests until you have that data and until you have those custom audiences. Now, if you really want to expand that round one testing, we also are throwing out some page post engagement ads where we test a little bit broader markets in the industry. Once again, if you have a fan page with some fans on it and some likes, then you can do a PPE ad here to friends of fans. So anyone who is a friend on Facebook of the fans of your fan page, that's who you'd be advertising to. And we do that because a lot of times the niches, the passion niches that we go after on social media, a lot of times it's just a community. That's what the social media platforms are for. So anyone who likes that certain passion, that certain niche, more than likely a lot of friends of theirs also like that niche, and you can really expand from there. Now, another test we do is a broad interest test with page post engagement. And this is more where the dialed interest on the WC side are our best estimated guess of buyers. The broad interest would be an interest or multiple interests that kind of cover the entire industry. So if we're doing horseback riding and we're targeting tail spin bracelets on the dialed interest, we may just target horseback riding on the broad interest. So that's round one, testing, seeing all those pockets that might work for us. Now, like I said, if everything kind of works, everything starts converting, then awesome, we can take the steps further in the round two on every single one of these ad sets. What we want to do is we want to let this go a good 3-4 days, maybe a whole week, to look how Facebook does, look at the optimization that happens, see if it starts to produce a positive ROI. Now after this 3-4 days, we start to look at those stats, and if we are not making a positive ROI, then we throw that ad campaign, that product, over into what I call maintenance mode, and it's going to be just kind of a drip campaign coming in. If you really want to dial in and find, test out more and more, you would go back to round one and change up your interest groups, change up your targeting, the demographics, and keep doing round one testing until you find that winner. You would do this more so if you have one staple product is your one product, or maybe a handful of products, you're not really launching new products every week, so you need to find those pockets that are going to buy that initial product. Now, if you're launching new products every week, every month, you can just kind of throw out those round 1 losers in the maintenance mode, and then next week test 10 new products in round 1. And this is how we kind of go about multiple processes to figure out that initial first winner. So if any of these ad sets are producing a positive ROI after round 1, we move into the actual scaling process. So round 2 comes into play, and pretty much when you're scaling, the whole idea here is just expand reach. Show more people the products and the ad that you have so that you can have more buyers. And like I said in the beginning, round 1, we start out very dialed, our best estimated guess, and round 2, we're expanding a little bit more, a little broader, round 3, broader than even round 2, and so forth, so that we hit everyone. If you have a product that you start off with in the horseback riding niche, but then it ends up selling to everyone that's a farmer or everyone that's in rodeo or those larger niches, this is a lot of potential, because you all of a sudden added millions and millions and millions of people that you can start advertising to that are not necessarily horseback riding niche. So in round 2, we're expanding on what those tests went in round 1. If the ad sets are winning and they did well, then we start to bump the price, the budget that we're spending on these ad sets about every 3 to 4 days by 15 to 20%. And this allows you to slowly up your budget, slowly expand the reach on those winning ad sets, allowing Facebook to slowly optimize. It typically takes a few days, it seems like, for Facebook and the Pixel to optimize the traffic every ad you make. Every new product ad you launch, it might take 3 or 4 days for Facebook to kind of find those pockets for you. So let Facebook do its work. The more data, the more ad campaigns you're running, and the more pixel optimization there you have, the better it's going to be. So for those winners, we're bumping every 3 days by about 15%. Now we're also expanding to all those other interests that we did in the master research list that we might have not started off with in the dialed interest. That first round 1 dialed interest test was the best estimated buyer group. We have a whole bunch of interests that are still on the list after this. They might be general interest, they might be not so targeted interest in that horseback riding niche or whatnot, but we want to test these out as well. So we'd create a whole new ad set that targets these other interest groups. Now, thirdly, on the website conversion side, we start to do our lookalike audiences. So those custom audiences are building. We have retargeting going here. As those grow, we create those lookalikes. Now, on the WC side, I like to do dialed lookalikes. So this would be a lookalike audience from your buyers list or whatnot, and we would combo that with a interest, so maybe a broad interest. So a dialed lookalike from people who have purchased horse riding shirts from us, and combine that with maybe the horse riding interest in a single ad set. So the lookalikes are very broad to what Facebook suggests are probably people that are similar to your initial group, but we'll dial it in even more by adding that extra interest of horseback riding. Now on the PPE side, we're going to do that same lookalike system, but we're not going to use the interest. We'll just use the straight lookalike, which is much larger, much broader, but with the page post engagement ad, it gets them interacting there. Now also with the winners, same thing. You're bumping winners every 3 days by 15%. Now this is round 2. We're kind of finding how broad can we go, how much can we expand, where can we go from here if we have winners. If interest group 2 is winning, if the broad interest from round 1 is winning, then we have lots of potential out there. We can target a whole bunch of other industries and pockets that might not be directly related to that starting niche. So again, we're waiting 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, looking at those numbers, looking how they're optimizing, look how they're converting, and we move into round 3, which is just that extra step, that next step of scaling. Now, website conversions continue bumping every 3 days. It's a systematic process. If the conversions ROI start to drop, pay attention to this and bump and lower your budgets as necessary. You might get to a point where you're spending too much and Facebook's trying to throw too much traffic at your ad, so it's not getting all the optimized people, it's just getting as many people as possible, and it might hurt your conversion. So pay attention to your budgets as you're going, but continue bumping as long as that daily profit continues to increase. Now we want to go ahead and expand on the lookalikes we're doing. We're going to start creating ad sets with our broad interest in the industry as well as our broad lookalikes. And then we're going to start looking at our related industries. So in the horseback riding niche, like I talked about, we can expand in the rodeo niche, we can expand to the farmer niche, we can expand to the country southern living niche. All of these interests are now in the play, which open up new possibilities for lookalikes, custom audiences, and just scaling, expanding our reach even more. Same thing's pretty much going on the PPE side. We're jumping into those related industries, bumping our winners, and then we're also starting up our click to website ads here, where we'd have an ad set go for each individual ad, testing pretty much the same targeting we have with the website conversion and the page post engagement ads from the previous rounds, just seeing if the CTW ads are going to take off just as well. So that's pretty much our standard system for scaling. This is happening, we're adjusting every 3, 4, 7 days, just kind of paying attention to what's going on there. Facebook optimizes and changes their system often, so we are updating our scaling process, every 2, 3 months pretty much. This is changed just recently over the new algorithm changes. So pay attention to what's going on, make sure that your ads are always kind of moving that direction, and just know that scaling, when you have that winner, the entire purpose is to expand that reach, find those extra pockets of people that are going to buy, and really just improve that daily profit. As you get more and more reach, you spend more and more on your scaling, you're going to see the percentage of ROI might be dropping, but as long as you're going up in daily profit compared to what you're spending, then you're making more money. So that's the details and pretty much how you want to go about your Facebook advertising scaling. So thanks guys, my name is Travis Patel. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up. Have a good one.